It's Fight in My Life on talkSPORT. Russ Williams, Spencer Oliver and the great Michael Watson with us on this particular edition of the show. And we've just been through that epic fight against Nigel Benn. 6 rounds, ended in a TKO for the force Michael Watson with that left jab. Denny Mancini said, use your left hand. Michael did, and he got the job done. And subsequently, of course, has become very friendly with Nigel Benn. There is an honour, as we all know, amongst boxers. One or two maybe not so friendly with, but that's a story for another day. When we were coming in to meet Michael today, I think this is worth mentioning. This sport is in your very heart, Spencer, just like it is in Michael's. I mean, you are elite, special people.
Absolutely.
And the thrill for you to subsequently become friendly with Michael, when you were a kid, you watched this fight, and this was one of those fights that inspired you to become a professional boxer. And that is why there's such a big connection, I think, between you and Michael.
Yeah, it's incredible when you think about it. You know, watching this fight way back in 1989, I was sort of like a 13, 14-year-old kid, and you would be watching the likes of Michael Watson and Nigel Benn and looking at them, and they were your heroes. You know, you're looking at them, and they were inspirational people. You wanted to be them. You know, and as I got older and sort of like I turned professional myself, and then obviously we'll talk about this later in the show, but you know, Michael Watson went on to have another 6 or 7 fights before boxing Chris Eubank. He had 2 incredible fights with Chris Eubank. Well, first fight was very controversial. He should have won the fight. The second fight, he loses in the 11th round and picks up a terrible injury. He sustains a blood clot to the brain. He goes into a coma, etc. And I followed that path.
Yes.
I had the same thing happen to me 6 or 7 years later. I was the next person that sustained that same injury, an injury where I slipped into a coma, picked up a blood clot on the right side of my brain. I went into a coma for 2 weeks. And I think with everything that happened, the medical science and the lessons that they learnt from Michael's injuries sort of helped me make the recovery.
Michael became a mentor in recovery to you, didn't he?
More than a mentor. Michael was, I used to look, so after I'd been through what I'd been through, Michael had contacted me. I looked at Michael for hope. He was more than a mentor. He become a good friend and somebody that obviously that I admired. And, you know, I think that we are part of that elite group, and they call them heroes, you know, because we'd come through what we'd come through. And Michael gave me the strength and the hope to rebuild and continue with life, because when something tragic happens to you, I think Michael was 26 when he sustained his injury. I was only 23. So you're still a kid. And when boxing's your life, and when that door shuts and something as terrible as that happens, you got to find direction in life, and you got to find another avenue, and you need people around you to be able to help you get on with that, and, you know, sort of be able to continue with life and try and find a new avenue, a new route. And Michael Watson was that guy for me. You know, he helped me find my way. And so he's got a special place in my heart, obviously, because we are both 2 guys that have been through what we've been through. And we've both come out the other side.
A lot of people listening, Michael, may be surprised that you didn't pick the second Eubank fight, or maybe even the first one, but probably the second one as the most important fight in your career. But you did pick Nigel Benn. Just for clarification, why did you pick that fight?
Because of the Nigel Benn fight. Our awesome fight I had with Nigel has made me who I am of today. The fourth. From that fight, I got that label the fourth. He gave me the fight of my life. He brought out the best in me, like no other fight can.
Spencer's touched on it. White Hart Lane, the second Eubank fight. You're on the verge of victory. You knock Eubank down, but somehow Eubank gets back to his feet, lands a huge uppercut, puts you down. You did manage to see the round out, but in round 12, the ref eventually waved the fight off. After that is when the real personal drama for you started. You collapsed in the ring, and then you went on to spend 40 days in a coma. You've had 6 brain operations, I think I'm right in saying, and like Spencer had a blood clot, you had a blood clot as well. Can you take us there, Michael? What do you remember of being in the ring at that time and what was happening? Because I think people would be surprised to know, for example, that there was no St John's ambulance or medical staff in attendance at all at this fight.
It's a miracle that I'm still alive. I shouldn't be here today. I truly do believe in miracles, and that's what I am. I'm here for a purpose. I'm here for the saving of Spencer's life and others in general.
I truly believe that you.
Sorry.
No, go on. You carry on.
And also, when this accident happened, I couldn't walk and I couldn't talk. But amazingly, I walked 26 miles for the Brain and Spine Foundation. I raised medical equipment for the hospitals in general. And that is another reason why I'm still alive today. And also, I'm a vessel of inspiration for people in general. And I appreciate who I am of today. And amazingly, throughout everything, Muhammad Ali came up to see me when I was in the hospital ward. You know, he passed on a serious message to me that I had to say. He saw my fight against Nigel Benn, and he truly was impressed. And up to this day, Spencer, he said to me, he's very proud of me. I'm a true champion, and people like myself will live on. I've come from Muhammad Ali. Those words will never leave my thought.
Yeah, you truly tore up the script that day, Michael, because you shouldn't be here. You know, the medical procedures weren't in place, but you made that recovery, and that's why I say, for me, you know, you're my Muhammad Ali, like, because I look at you and I see what you come through, and that got me where I am today, because you give me strength.
Amazingly, Spencer, when Ali came over to me, he passed the banner on to me. You know, he said, "You are an amazing man," Ali said to me, "and you will live on. I'm very proud of you." And his spirit is still in me. I felt a force of his spirit dwelling within me. The show goes on, Spencer. The Mark Watson show goes on. And you're a part of it.
Did Muhammad Ali and that meeting and what he said to you give you inspiration and even more determination in your rehabilitation, Mike?
You know, he's a man of great character. You know, I couldn't talk. I couldn't talk at that moment. I could only speak with my eyelids. But throughout his character, he said, "You know what, Mr. Watson, you're not such a bad looking man, are you? But not as good looking as me." And he distorted his face so much, his eyeball popping out of his head. I broke it. I made the first sign of noise I made. It's like, when I made that noise, it's like an ice being broken. Look, I'm here again today. Onward and up.
Michael, I was taken back to the Royal Albert Hall. So I had my fight May the 2nd, 1998 at the Royal Albert Hall, where I collapsed in the 10th round, slipped into a coma, sustained a blood clot to the right side of my brain. I was in a coma for 12 days, recovered. I was in the hospital for about a month. After I'd come out of the hospital, I was trying to piece it all together. Now, the reason I'm saying this because we've never had this conversation, but I was trying to piece it all together and I couldn't put it together. And they took me back to the Royal Albert Hall to see if I could have any sort of memory, any recollection of the fight. I remember staring over the balcony, looking down where the ring was, and I don't remember anything. Don't remember being in the Albert Hall. Don't remember anything at all. They took me into the dressing room. This is a true story. They took me into the dressing room. I looked around the dressing room and I thought, I can't remember being here. I can't remember warming up here. True story. I opened up the dressing room door and my suit that I was going to wear after the fight was still hanging up in the wardrobe of that dressing room. So I knew I'd obviously been there, but I had no recollection. But the suit was hanging up in the wardrobe, but I had no memory of the fight. And the reason I'm telling you this story, Michael, is because I'm asking you, what was your last memory of... Do you have any memory of the fight or any recollection of the fight? Because I don't remember the fight. I can remember the weigh-in the day before, and I remember waking up at the hospital bed, but I can't remember the fight, which is really weird. That's why I'm asking you.
I can. It's hard to forget that. All I can remember being Chris Eubank pillar to post. And then making all these funny noises and making a body shot. Making a body shot. I can't forget it.
How did it go? How did the body shots go?
It was very entertaining, making me funny noise every time the body shot. All I'm hearing is, No, I can't forget that, Spence. I'm being honest, bro.
Yeah,
it's fully entertaining.
It's amazing, isn't it? Because that's why I wanted to ask you, because it's like, you know, we've been through
I found it to be very amusing at the same time.
It's incredible that you actually remember that. That's
absolutely.
What I say.
Your rehabilitation continues to this day. Obviously, your comeback is considerable.
And also, I've got this man here, my new carer. I love him with all my heart. He brought me up from rock bottom, you know. I feel a bit emotional saying this, but my life, I've given up hope. Because I was rock bottom. But since he's come into my life, he brought back the force massively. This man there, her, top of that.
What do you enjoy doing, you know, away from thinking about boxing and being the boxing person that you are? Do you have any hobbies, for example?
I love inspiring souls. You know, I really do. This man here, he's done the world of good. You know, the food. I'm just being more looked at. I'm back. The force is back. Thank God for this man now.
I think it's fair to say Haroon plays a huge part in your life, Michael. I know that. You know how much time he spends with you, how much he helps you, gets you around to places, for you to do your inspirational speaking and for people to see you. It's just an inspirational thing. You know, I'm overwhelmed when I see you every time I see you, and we've known each other for well over 20 years now. And I see you, and every time I see you, it just gives me a pillar of strength. Like, there's something special about you. And I think, you know, you've got to... I salute Haroon for everything that he does for you, because he plays his part massively.
It's good to have good people in your life, and this brother, he's godsend. He really is.
We've got a final question for you, and I'll be honest with you.
You said that an hour ago.
Well, I lie occasionally.
When it's good, it's good.
And it's normally, if you could change anything that you've done in your boxing career, what would it be? But I'm just wondering whether we alter that question to be, would you have changed anything about your boxing career?
I'm glad to be who I am.
Despite everything that happened after the second Eubank fight, you wouldn't have changed
No,
nothing.
I wouldn't. I'm glad to be the force, an inspirational figure for man, to give hope to people where there's no hope. Also give them the extreme pleasure.
I believe that you was put back here for a reason, Michael, and that reason is to inspire other people, and you've certainly done that, mate, because
absolutely.
Without people like yourself, I think that I could have possibly been, you know, in a terrible place, and I think that people like you inspired me. Not people like you, actually you inspired me to help me come back, and I can only thank you for that, mate, and thank you for your time today, because honestly, it's been an absolute pleasure reliving this fight, the fight of your life. It's been incredible.
It certainly has been the fight of my life, Spence. I'm more than a conqueror. I'm a winner and a born champion. The force is back.
And you've just heard the force, Michael Watson, on Fight of My Life. It's been a pleasure having you with us. It's been a pleasure hearing you speak so glowingly about Michael and obviously the awful things that you went through as well, Spencer. But Michael, you're a hero to many people, if not everybody listening to this programme, certainly to my good buddy Spencer Oliver, and to me as well, the work that you're doing. And you're a hero to yourself. And you've got a hero by the side of you who drinks too many lattes, maybe.
He's the one who brought me back.
Exactly.
You're the people's champion.
Michael Watson, thank you for being with us on Fight of My Life. It's been absolutely brilliant. That is it from this edition, and what a show, Spencer. We'll be back soon with more boxing life stories.